Chaplain. It's early in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, let's stand and let's pray, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Father God, we just come before you here this morning. This is early. This is going to be 2 days of just full of all kinds of things, and I pray that you just give us the energy to get through these things, especially the important things that need to be on all of our minds. And I pray, God, that you be with these commissioners as they go through this, and especially all these that have their moments to be able to talk about the budget lines. And I pray you just give us level heads and everything. And God, I thank you for those first responders out there that are protecting us while we're in here dealing with all these things. And continue to bless us with that rain. We thank you for last night, and may everything be safe in the county. We'll do this all in your son's name, Jesus. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Okay, I'll call the July 21st, 2025 meeting of the Burleigh County Park Board to order. First item is roll call of members.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Here.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Commissioner Bakken. Commissioner Schwab.
Here.
Commissioner Boehm. Commissioner Herman.
Okay, we do have a quorum, although just barely. Next item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion is second to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
There was no second.
Oh,
Second.
sorry, I thought there was. Okay. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next, consideration of July 7th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Commissioner Munson, concrete bids for Steckel boat ramp and update on placement of the ADA wheelchair and Wallace loading.
We'll ask Dave to come on up and present the bids.
Good morning, Chairman Bittner and Commissioners. Round two of the concrete quotes for up at Steckel. Much more successful this time in soliciting some quotes from some contractors. We received 3 quotes when we opened this last time. The low responsive quoter was from Access Concrete in the amount of $25,490. Much more within range of what we were expecting it to be, and would recommend that we move forward. If there's any questions, I can try to answer them.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the low bid of Access Concrete for $25,490.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve access concrete. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Schwab.
Yes. Chairman
Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Are you handling the next item?
You might as well.
I can. I certainly can. In your packet is a proposed layout. If you remember last time we met, the discussion about the access ramp being added to Knifel Boat Landing. Commissioner Munson and I met out at Knifel and walked out where we thought we could put one. We're working with Houston Engineering on a layout, and the layout in your packet is what we think is the best location that would offer us some flexibility if there's future development, and get us some good stacking for access to that platform, and hopefully move this thing forward and we can get it constructed here quickly.
Mr. Chair, if I can.
Commissioner Munson.
Add to that a little bit. I had the architect or the engineer add in vehicle and boats just so we had an idea of the traffic that would go through there. Our initial proposal and conversations with wheelchairs and walleyes is for 2 handicap parking spots along with the flat work sidewalk getting up to the ramp with an addition of proposal of 2 additional handicap if we need. We have the room for that. The conversations with a couple contractors, including one of the ready-mix vendors. At this point, this is all still donated. I have a contractor lined up to do the actual flat work. The ready-mix company is donating that. So we keep moving forward with 0 cost to Burleigh County as we grow. We've also had conversations with electrical contractors, electrical vendors about getting wire electrical run from a current pole over to this area to then also have yard lights. And so far as with those conversations, all of that has been donated as well.
That's good news.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if the commission would like to approve that, but if this is the layout that we are proposing. And if you need a motion, I would move to approve.
Second.
I don't think that's required, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Motion and a second to approve the location of that ramp, handicap ramp. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Dave,
And-
Dave, one more. If you
Go
don't-
ahead, yeah, other business.
David just mentioned to me that the vault toilet is installed out at Steckel. So now with
Correct.
the improvement of this concrete, we should have that project cleaned up within the next 30 days.
I will give Access Concrete a call as soon as I leave here and let
Yep.
them know they're free to move forward with the project, and hopefully we can get them working on that concrete right away.
Perfect.
The only other thing to add is within that project, we pulled out a couple of things that the contractor didn't need to do that the Park District will take care of. We're going to order the accessible fire pit that is part of the project. The fire pit that's there is not accessible. If you remember that, the transition plan was to have an accessible fire pit, so we will order that. The contractor, excuse me, will install that. So we need to make that order, and then there are a few trees that we had planned on that plan to get installed. We didn't put that in the contractor, or in that contract. We figured we'd save some money for the county and take care of that ourselves. So minor things, but now that everything's approved, we'll take care of all that as well, and that'll all get done.
Thank you.
Sounds good, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Any other business for the Burleigh County Park Board? Seeing none, we'll adjourn County Park Board, and we'll call the Burleigh County Commission meeting of July 21st, 2025 to order. First item is roll call of members.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Here.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Commissioner Bakken. Commissioner Schwab.
Here.
Chairman Bittner.
Here. Next is approval of the agenda. We're going to move at least one item. Commissioner Woodcox has requested that item number 16, which is Provident Building Mural with Aaron Barth, Executive Director, Northern Plains Foundation, that he be moved up to 9 o'clock, right? So we'll make space available in the agenda. It'll be out of order, but we'll put him in when he gets here around 9. Is that okay with everybody? And then there is a presentation by Commissioner Woodcox, and we're gonna put that right after the consent agenda. That's okay with you?
You bet.
Okay. That's the only changes I had. Does anybody else want anything moved or changed or anything?
Move to approve with the amendments.
Second.
Motion second to approve with amendments. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next is consideration of July 7th, 2025 meeting minutes and bills. Commissioners, I had an opportunity to review the bills, although it was kind of in a hurry this morning. I found them to be in order and would ask for a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes and bills. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Next thing would be our first run at this public comment. We're going to have comments that are related to Burleigh County that may not be on the agenda. It is restricted to Burleigh County residents and landowners, and it's also needs to be in sync with our public comment policies. Does anybody wish to speak to Burleigh County regarding public comment? Please state your name for the record, please.
Good morning, Chair Bittner, Commissioners. B. Streifel. I'm a Burleigh County resident. I'm also a Planning and Zoning Commissioner. And I would just like to speak briefly on item 9. I meant to have time to get you guys copies, but... And I have visited with Marla on this, and it's just basically a matter of grammar. I hope that this amendment passes today. I am a little concerned about the very first sentence under section 31 where it says, all persons, entities, or organizations wishing to establish the use of agricultural recreation within Burleigh County must apply for and be granted a special use permit. And I'm just wondering if the language should say must apply for and be considered for, or something on that line. My second concern was number 2, under minimum requirements. It says outdoor lighting must be 5 feet from the adjacent properties. And gosh, in my opinion, that's just kind of picking for a fight. I would like to see it say outdoor lighting must be a minimum of 5 feet from adjacent properties, because otherwise it's saying they must have lighting 5 feet from adjacent properties. And then my last concern was number 8. It says limitations/requirements as determined by the Board of Burleigh County Commissioners for each special use permit. I think as should be are, so that it actually forms a sentence. Otherwise, I think it's a good amendment, and I hope to see it go through. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, B. I want to point out that I'm going to chastise you just a little bit there, B. The public comment portion is for things that are not on the agenda. This item is on the agenda for today. You're welcome to present again at that time too, okay?
That way it's fresh when we're
Right,
talking about it.
right, because see, the reason we're doing that is because you made some very good points, but by the time we get there, since I wasn't writing notes fast enough, I might not have I might not have the ability to change it right then, so I'd encourage you to stick around. Any other public comment before we move on?
She was hoping to leave.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but that's the,
Yep.
okay, we'll close public comment and move on to the consent agenda. Commissioners, anything you want to pull out of there for discussion, or?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. At this point, Commissioner Woodcox has a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to have our sheriff step up for a brief presentation.
Well, that was, yeah.
This is a presentation for our sheriff. It's one of the great things that we get to do as chairman, as commissioners. And this is a 15-year award for 15 years of solid service. And also, he was on KFYR. There's your camera.
Oh, okay.
He was on KFYR as a host last week for a whole hour, and it was excellent. He's got the gift of gab, which most commissioners and departments have had.
Oh, well,
Here it is, 15 years.
Thank you, Kelly. Congratulations to Sheriff Lieben. Thank you, Commissioner Woodcox. Let's see, Aaron's not here yet. Okay, we're going to move ahead with Lewis and Clark Regional Development Council Executive Director Brent Ekstrom, update and county membership dues. Brent.
I don't see Brent in the hall.
That's probably, okay. Aaron, we had a conversation about you. We were expecting you around 9 o'clock. If you'd like, we can work in right now.
Absolutely, sure, yeah.
Okay, Aaron Barth, you under Northern Plains Heritage, or are you under?
Yeah, Northern Plains Heritage Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Presentation regarding Commissioner Woodcox's project. Thanks for showing up, Aaron.
Absolutely, thank you, Chairman Bittner and Commissioners for having me. Is there an ability to, I don't want to start pulling levers and pushing buttons on the laptop here, but I have a
Well,
short
well-
presentation with visuals if that's
While
possible.
he's up, getting that ready.
Okay, thanks.
We did, I did mention in the last meeting, we were going to look into having a mural put on the south side of the Provident Life Building for the 250th anniversary of the United States, and the county was just a year ago, and so was the city, so we're working on having several entities involved, and Aaron is here to speak to, oh, here comes the sheriff. So, anyway, Aaron is here to speak to that project and explain how it's going to be done. And afterwards, I'd like a consensus or a motion to approve moving forward. Aaron, you're on.
All right, scary, yeah. Start mirroring. We'll see what happens here. And if it, oh, looks like something's going on here. Okay. Okay, we're good. Chairman Bittner and Commissioners, thank you for having me. And it was a couple weeks ago. I'm going to use broad brushstroke here rather than, I'm a historian by training, so sometimes I have trouble with names and dates, right? So broad brushstrokes here, right? Commissioner Woodcox, I think had a conversation with Chairman Bittner about public mural process and big broad brushstroke. Of course, next year we have America 250 and the 250th anniversary or celebration of the United States of America. So we've almost made it to 250 years, and these murals sometimes help us incentivize us to let's try for another 250 years after that, right? But I'll get into my presentation here. The public mural process, these are simply Northern Plains examples. And what I've just kind of outlined here in very non-illustrative, boring text is the public mural sequence. And there's 2 slides here, then after that there'll be some visuals. But the part of the sequence I believe that we're in right now is identify the canvas, and the canvas being potentially the south elevation of the Provident Life Building, which will be the new Burleigh County building. So we're in the scoping, the identify the canvas, and seek permissions from organizations phase. And I can email this as a follow-up to all commissioners as well, so you have it in your files. And then, of course, there's labor and material cost estimates, and then timelines. Of course, the second point, ways and means, secure funding commitments. We want to make sure we have permission of whatever surface that we're proposing to do this before we go and seek out the ways and means. The fun part of this gets to the third bullet point, which is the community input sessions. And those community input sessions, I have it listed at one of the slides at the very end, but anywhere in the rural and the urban of Burleigh County, community input sessions can take place. And these sessions, they're formally informal, right? So they are literally could be shop talks. It could be at an unincorporated township or a town. It could we have relationships established like in Wing, but I know there's Driscoll, there's Moffett, there's Sterling, there's we're countywide, right? So those conversations can happen in any one of those communities, and those what's said at those conversations inform basically the content of what the mural will be. And they're bumpered, of course, by, in this case, it would be how Burleigh County figures into, this nation, right? The kind of a fancy phrase to use might be the cosmology of nationhood. So how all of our own unique individual points contribute to this larger whole of the United States of America. Then from that, the final sketch of the mural is completed. And then we get to the fun stuff, the mural fabrication. So once the completion of the sketch, the mural is outlined on a grid of 5-foot by 5-foot sheets of inert material. And so if you're familiar with like polytab, or it's almost like the house wrap that you use. And then once that's all sketched out, then those sheets, 5 by 5 sheets, are brought out again to the community. And this could be in different urban and rural areas in Burleigh County. And they do what's called the underpainting, which is the primary and secondary colors are painted underneath before you do the overpainting. And a lot of artists who are way smarter than I am have figured out that if you do this underpainting process, it preserves the overpainting color of the mural colors, so they're more saturated, they pop more, they last over time as well. Then it gets to the installation, and because we can do this process, or this process itself is, it can take place, it doesn't have to take place exactly on the surface in which it's going on. So throughout a winter, we've done this a couple different times now. Throughout the winter, you create this mural on these 5 by 5 sheets, and then when spring thaw and summer comes, boom, it goes up within a couple weeks. And that's the installation process. Once the mural's installed, the master artists will come and they do the overpainting on the panels because it ties everything together. And then, of course, the understandable question is, what about, I'll call it unlicensed public artists, which is graffiti. It's been going on from the ancient Rome till the present. So the anti-graffiti coating is applied. And then the real fun part is the grand unveiling. And so the ribbon cutting, in the past we've done ribbon cuttings with particular chambers of commerce and that sort of thing. In other cases, we've had a meal or a potluck. But it brings people together to, in this case, it would bring people together to consider what has, how Burleigh County has contributed to the nation's story, and figure in the present and also where we're going. You don't really know where you're going until you have an understanding of your past. So. And I've got some examples here. So here's before and after example. On the left is the Bismarck Expressway pedestrian tunnel, what we've unofficially called the Northern Plains Nature Tunnel, the before and after. And then underneath the Interstate 94 bridge, the before and after. And the photo on the left is the grand unveiling, where we did have a big community meal in front of the I-94 or Missouri River Heritage mural. And then there's community, these paint parties, right? And so the Expressway Tunnel mural, we had all sorts of partners that lined up here. One of them was AARP. You can see it right there. A whole bunch of students at, I believe that was Good Shepherd Lutheran Church on a Wednesday evening. We did a community paint party. And then there's also mosaics. Sometimes mosaics tie into these murals, so you have a couple different mediums that you're using. The artists that coordinate the mosaics usually say they bring boxes of Band-Aids when they do the mosaic part because you're broken glass and stuff. Here's another community paint party. This was, again, for the Expressway pedestrian tunnel mural. This is at the Bismarck Veterans Memorial Public Library. And then another one of our distant, I suppose that's a relative term, but our distant partners is the Grafton, North Dakota Beautification Committee. And this is an example of, in the way northeastern part of the state, they created a mural that they installed on the outside, be the north and the east elevation of the historic Carnegie Public Library. And you can just see some of the visuals there. These are massive things too. These are magnificent selfie spots. So I believe, I have one more slide after this. So here's the proposed canvas. We were out there measuring yesterday, and it's what we got for measurements is 60 feet wide, and is it 6 or 7 stories?
6.
6 stories, okay. And then community involvement, I added this as the last slide just to, this is just a sort of scattershot of the various communities. It's not by no means definitive, but just an idea how we can push this out to the entire county as well. So that's what I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you, Mr. Chairman, can you relay the way you prepare the surface and so we don't harm the surface and it can be removed down the road sometime if necessary or whatever? Can you reiterate that?
Yeah, I can get more technical details on that process for how one might preserve. Exactly, right? These murals, they typically, or they've seen to last 20 years. And then, that is a good research question. What are we going to do if you don't want the mural there anymore, right? So can I provide more follow-up information on that? I'm trying to do my best to not speak of stuff that I don't know about. Yeah.
You got the floor.
Yeah, that would be all right, Aaron.
Yeah.
We wouldn't expect you to have every answer today, but one of the reason he's mentioning it is because the State Historical Society has made it very clear we can only do certain things in that building,
Okay.
right? We can't drill into the brick, can't, change the historical features of the building. So if you were going to, for example, drill in, and I'm real hesitant about that.
Yeah.
But if you drill into just the grout that's in between the bricks, then that would probably be okay with the Historical Society.
Okay.
Not necessarily the best thing to do.
Right.
Hopefully, there's options that don't include a lot of holes in the exterior of the building. But
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure we can talk about that a little.
Absolutely. We have a relationship established with the State Historic Preservation Office too, and I'd be happy if the commission is okay with just starting a dialogue with those folks is there as well.
I'm okay with that, commissioners.
I think that's a must.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Woodcock.
One of the things he mentioned was funding, and this year we had a budgeted $5,000 for an organization, and they didn't request it, so we didn't pay it. So I would like to use that $5,000 as just a buffer for money we might need to have use of before the project is put up. You talk about a community dinner or potluck. There's so many things that we might run into some financing, but this is a minimum amount, and as far as I know, I shouldn't say it, but that's the only cost Burleigh County will have. But
that a motion?
we'll determine that later on. But I would like to use that $5,000 that was dedicated to community involvement, and this is certainly a community involvement
Is that a
project.
motion? I'll consider that a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to dedicate the $5,000 from the unused source to this project for use. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcock?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Chairman Bittner and Commissioners.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, Aaron.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's great to be here.
Okay, County Engineer Hall, we got Northridge Estates Resolution of Necessity and accepting platted right-of-way. Welcome, Marcus.
Good morning, Commissioners. There are 2 items on the agenda. The first item is declaring a resolution of necessity. This is for Northridge Estates. Hay Creek Township has requested us to move forward with a special assessment out in Northridge Estates. That's a little different than our normal process. Our normal process is we get a petition and we follow through with the petition process. However, from time to time, we have done these as the direction of Hay Creek Township. So we put the plan together, or not the plan together, the finance package together, engineering report, that is included in your packet. To just let you know where we're at with that. In this particular situation, I just want to point out Hay Creek Township is planning to set aside some of their money from their general fund to help buy down this particular special assessment district. So right now what we're looking at for cost per individual is $4,663 per lot on that particular special assessment district. At this point, all I'm asking for is to approve the resolution that's in your packet. That's basically stating, declaring a resolution of necessity for this particular project, and then setting a public hearing date. I did state in that resolution, I was thinking August 18th would be the date we'd have the public hearing. I'd like to push that back to the next meeting, so September 3rd is what I would prefer to have that on. So that's the only change in that resolution that's in your packet. I'd happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Schwab?
So you shorten it. What do you want?
At this point, as you know, with Special Assessment District, we have about a 37-step process that we go through.
Marcus, I'm going to use that for the motion, so.
Okay, the motion is that the county accepts the engineering report and declares a resolution of necessity for North Ridge Estates subdivision, Special Assessment District, and authorizes the call of a public hearing for September 3rd of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
The next item I have is the acceptance of right-of-way. This is a process that we do is where we accept right-of-way that is placed on a plat either from the city of Bismarck, city of Lincoln, or Burleigh County. This particular plat is going through the city Bismarck's process. I believe they will accept this plat in short order here. There's some right-of-way showing on it. It is included in your packet. So the resolution that I'm looking forward is that the County Board of Commissioners do hereby accept the right-of-way shown on the Voss subdivision plat.
Move to approve.
Second.
Yeah, motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Next is Associate Planner Marlon McMonigal, Plains Ridge subdivision amendments and to Articles 8 and 11. Welcome, Marlon. Mitch is on vacation.
Yes, he's out. So the first thing I have is the Plains Ridge subdivision and zoning change. It's part of the southwest corner of the southwest 1/4, section 24, township 140 north, range 80 west. It's addressed as 11,201 41st Street. And the petitioner came to us asking to divide his 14 acres into 2 lots so he could sell one. And he asked for the zoning change was asked for before, and the planning commission had never voted on that zoning change. So we ran it through with this one. And the planning and zoning commission approved the final plat and the zoning change with the due pass recommendation to the Board of Burleigh County Commissioners.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next, Marlon.
Okay, my next item is amendment to the Burleigh County zoning ordinances to amend Article 8 and 11 to add agricultural recreation. Agricultural recreation is use combining agricultural production with recreational uses that are common with and ancillary to primary agricultural use and in conjunction with a single-family dwelling. The Burleigh County Planning and Zoning Commission gave their final approval and recommendation of a due pass for the amendment to the zoning ordinances, Article 8, Special Uses, and Article 11, Agricultural Zoning District, to include agricultural recreation. The recommendation was passed with a 7-to-1 approval. So what we're asking for today is approval. We also received on Sunday a letter from Jamie Feist regarding his property and his comments on the zoning ordinance, the amendments, and that was given to you this morning.
Okay, Marla, did you hear the comments earlier that
Yes.
Do you have any concerns? or
No,
you
I
want-
can make those changes that were suggested on the final one because they're just wording. We're not changing the substance of the ordinance. So I can make those changes if you agree.
Yeah, I think you could go ahead and make those changes, then just probably put it back on the agenda.
You want it on the next agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would
Okay.
want amendments made first.
Yeah, yeah. So we,
Okay.
you should be able to review with her what she was interested in, and hopefully, I think, come to some kind of a common ground on the language then.
Okay.
So I think she had good points.
Absolutely.
Just not sure that,
Yep.
I did have some concern with that first, in the minimum requirements, that outdoor lighting fixtures, so direct light is visible above a height of 5 feet. I wasn't real clear on that, what.
That was taken directly out of the Morton County. It's one that they suggested. And they wanted to, they must have a special shielding so that
Yeah,
it shields the
that part I
property.
understand, and I agree with
Yeah.
that, but I'm just wondering if the light has to be 5 foot above shining down, or if it has to be, it looks like it says, direct light is visible above a height of 5 feet.
Yeah. We can change that. That's put in so that they do have light on the property, especially if they have night events. And at the height visible above 5 feet, that keeps it out of your eyes, is the way I understood it when I talked to her.
Okay, can we kind of clean that up just a little bit to,
Yeah,
because I understand you don't want the light
Yeah.
in your eyes, that's why I was asking.
yeah.
Okay,
And we can change that too, whatever changes you like.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Munson.
As a whole, I appreciate this amendment and I'm supporting of it. As soon as we get the language cleared up, I think it's a good piece to move forward.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll look for that on the next agenda.
Okay.
Anything else for planning? Nothing? Okay, thanks, Marla.
You bet.
Sheriff Levin, quarterly report. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. My plan was to, since this is budget day, my plan was to keep the jail report very short, and I'm going to do that because I see I left it on the printer before I came over here. So, but I can tell you from memory, the one main thing I wanted to get to you guys today was revenue continues to trend very positive at the jail. If you remember, our revenue is generated primarily from our contract prisoners. Currently, we are taking a lot of prisoners from the state and from the U.S. Marshal. Actually, this was, thanks. I got that one, but so the U.S. Marshals and the state are our big prisoner contracts. We currently just passed $2 million in revenue. So when you compare that to 2024, we ended the year roughly about 2.6 million in revenue. So we're trending very positive. I think at the last jail meeting, and I presented to the commission, we were looking at 3.6 million in revenue. I think that is going to be a very conservative estimate. Our numbers are showing probably pushing closer to that 4 million for the year. So the staffing still continues to be an issue. Really, we're limited on that with our contracts because it's not space. It truly comes down to how many staff do we have to work the facility, and that dictates how many inmates we can have in there. All the other programs are staying pretty stable, and it just really, the talk right now is on those contracts and staffing. So if you have any specific questions, I would be glad to answer them. If not, I'll shoot you in an email those numbers just so you have them as we go further into budget. And I've been working with Lee pretty frequently as we talk about these numbers.
Hey, Commissioners, do you have any specific questions for the sheriff at this point? I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Okay, next one's on me, data center tour. After a previous meeting, I got an invitation from Dakota Carrier Network. Mr. Seth Arndorfer offered to provide a tour of the data center, and we wanted to make that tour available to commissioners. I'm not sure how we do the public meeting thing and the notice and whatnot, but if commissioners are interested in that, we should try to figure out a time, a number of staff, 3 planning director, HR director, and emergency manager would like to at least have mentioned that they'd like to participate in that tour as well. So commissioners, that's what that's all about.
So you're looking for a date, are we, or?
Yeah,
consensus
we should
date?
probably work together with, we'll just pick one of the staff to kind of establish a date. Anybody want to volunteer for that? Mary's volunteering to help coordinate a date, and because we obviously have to coordinate with the Dakota Carrier Network and the whole thing
Yep.
too. I'm sure it's a secure facility, and Mary is up there every day, so I don't think there's any motion required. We'll just work to set that up and move forward, okay?
Perfect.
Thanks for volunteering, Mary. Next is Commissioner Bakken. We'll save that for an agenda item unless he shows up. We'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Chairman, the next meeting will be after this meeting is scheduled to occur.
What?
The next county commission meeting is scheduled after August 5th, I believe.
Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then we'll see. We'll see if he shows up here and wants to show, and then we'll worry about it. Auditor Treasurer Splonskowski, North Dakota Association of County Committees, and Burleigh County Housing Authority application.
Chairman and Commissioners, this was the committee's agenda item was requested by the commission to be placed at a later date. I presented this here a few meetings ago. Really, it was just from the Association of Counties, just seeing if any of the commissioners would be interested in serving on any of the individual committees that they have.
Okay, commissioners, is there an interest in throwing your name in for any of the committee? I'm not seeing any interest.
Well, interested,
We got-
but not quite right now.
Yeah, well, busy, right?
Right.
I'm not seeing any volunteers.
Okay. Very good. And then the next one is, we did receive an application for the Burleigh County Housing Authority. There is a open position on there. One of the individuals on that board stepped down, and we have an application. So I don't know if you want me to wait for more applications, or if you want to approve this individual applicant, or what you wish to move forward.
Well, let's see, there's one opening.
Mm-hmm.
That just came open, right?
It came open within the last couple of months, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, reading this application, I would be ecstatic to have him on that board and would make the motion to accept it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept Lane Hoffer application beyond the auxiliary,
Housing.
housing board. Any further discussion? Call roll.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
No.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I can.
Commissioner Schwab, Commissioner Munson.
Speaking of the Housing Authority, after last meeting, did we really get any clarification as to who funds, who operates, who runs, who does anything over there?
I don't have any additional information.
On the portfolio list, they're supposed to report to us quarterly. In the 2.5 years I've been here, I've not heard from them once.
Right.
So just thought I'd ask.
I don't have any additional information on that at this point.
Okay.
Okay, County Finance Director, Interim Treasurer Jacobs. We got Provident Building renovation funding updates, budget amendments for Auditor Treasurer's Office, preliminary budget review and motion. I think we're gonna hold off on item D. We're gonna discuss that before. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chair Bittner and Commissioners, that would be my preference, is to hold off at least on the vote to adopt the preliminary budget. I'd also ask if we could please table item B, which is a budget amendment. We just need to get clarification on, it's a budget amendment to split essentially the budget of the Auditor Treasurer's Office, but we need to get some clarification on staff. We'll work with the HR director on that.
Okay, I don't know that a motion, I don't know we need a motion to table. I think we can just move that
Move it
to the next meeting. So we'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Item A, Provident Building Renovation Funding Updates. The big update here is that we applied for the BND Infrastructure Revolving Loan Fund, and we received a response. We were not selected for the loan. We didn't receive a specific reason, although I know there's a grading system of some kind. So my assumption would be that we just didn't grade in whatever high enough, given the applicants for the current round. We were told that they are anticipating accepting applications again in late 2025 or early summer 2026. So the thing with the Provident funding is I think we were comfortable with paying with cash or reserves or ARPA money that we had on hand until, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but until the 3% property tax caps took effect with HB 1176. I think in this environment, from my perspective, bonding the project would be the best option for the simple fact that we may not be able to rebuild our reserves with a 3% cap. So that makes bonding very appealing. However, North Dakota law restricts the issuance of bonds in a variety of ways. And so one of the ways they do this, just as an example, is to require a public vote on debt, like a general obligation. If it, like the school board, for example, when they build a new building, typically it goes to a vote, and then that becomes actually a levy on the taxpayer. There appear to be some options to pay for bonds out of an appropriation with limited, but they're limited to 5 years, and so that wouldn't necessarily require a vote. But I think the idea here is that you're not doing some huge project like building a $100 million school. You know, you're probably not going to be able to accomplish that in 5 years. So I just wanted to just point out that we are working with Bond Council. We've been working with Colliers since August of last year, specifically on bonding the Provident building. But I just wanted to summarize that, in my opinion, bonding's the best option, but there may be some restrictions on how we go about that and how much we're able to do. I have an email conversation going on right now with Bond Council, and so hopefully at the next meeting we have some idea of what we can do immediately if we choose to bond, and that may require maybe putting something on the budget, for example. So we would have something on the preliminary budget, maybe just as a fail-safe. That could come off at the final budget, but there may be something that needs to go on the budget this year if we decide to move forward with bonding. We have other resources available, as we've talked about. We've still got $6 million in ARPA funding, and so depending on how the conversation goes with bond counsel, like I said, we may need to have to find some room in the budget this year. At this point, I can pause and stand for any questions.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions on that funding at this point? Okay, I think we're going to move that item again to the agenda for the next county commission meeting, and we'll have more details by then, right?
Okay. But just to reiterate, I mean, the funding, we have the funds available. This issue of bonds arose at the 11th hour from my perspective because of this HB 1176. So I just wanted to clarify that it's not a case of we don't know how we're going to fund this. We do know how we're going to, we don't know how we're going to fund it, but only because of this change in the law. We were always prepared to fund it this way, but now this way might make more sense. I guess that takes us to the preliminary budget review already.
Yeah.
Skipping right over item B.
Yep.
So this is a case, as Chair Bittner mentioned, I had asked him to please hold off on the vote until the next regular meeting of the Burleigh County Commission. We have until August 10th to finalize our preliminary budget, but the last 2 weeks since since I was appointed interim treasurer, it's just been hectic, frankly. So there's some things in the budget that we need to include that aren't there, some required schedules, things like that. So I would happily take the next 2 weeks to go through the budget, get everything we're required to have in there, review everything, and then we will get an updated copy to the 5 of you in advance of the meeting. But I think if you wish, it would be appropriate to discuss the budget this morning, since that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. I think we've got a fair amount of staff in the room if they wanted to provide any kind of clarification, because I know I have in here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 or 8 pages of questions with the budget, and you're probably going to want to hand that off to you so that you can. So more, I don't need to discuss that at this point because it's kind of irrelevant. But does anybody? I guess we should just open it up to any staff that wants to provide clarification on any of the budget items that may be coming up with these questions. I know there's stuff that's been missing in the budget. For example, one was I think there was a salary line item missing from NDSU extension budget and various things like that. Anybody want to? I don't see anybody jumping up.
Can I just interject here? The lay of the land, I spent some time during the last couple of days going over our 2025 performance, estimating where our year end is going to land in terms of revenues and expenditures. And in the general fund, it looks to me like we will be about flat. So what the revenues that we're bringing in this year should be sufficient to cover our expenditures. So we should finish without dipping into our fund balance. We may even add a little bit to the fund balance. I would not anticipate as much as last year. And then on the special revenue funds, just broadly conceived, it seems to be the same thing. Our revenues in those funds, a highway, unorganized townships, all those things. The revenues appear to be sufficient to cover the expenditures during this year, and we might even add a little bit in some of those funds. So I think financially, we're going to finish the year in a good place.
Perfect. That's what we love to hear.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Munson.
And this is actually a question for the chair or Lee as well. So we had our 50% meeting with the engineers on the Kimball Bottom boat ramp remodel to comply with the Corps' concerns for our ramp and the bank stabilization.
Yeah.
So I have money in my budget for that. However, and this is a question for Lee, in the conversations with them at our meeting last week, they're anticipating 2.5 years to get a permit once we finalize the construction method needed. I certainly don't need that money in this year's budget if it's gonna be 2.5 years out for the permit. So how do you, Lee and I have talked a little bit about an improvement fund or, capital improvement fund. And so is it something where you put some money aside each year into that so that you have it later to spend? Do we put it in our budget 2 years from now instead of now? Rough engineer's estimate is between 800 and $1 million, with engineer's estimate about 50% covered by various other organizations that we can apply for grants and so on and so forth. So we're still looking at $500,000 of Burleigh County money to repair that. So in your research and the conversation amongst us, how do we plan for something like that?
Well, I think obviously the best answer is a capital improvement budget.
Yes.
Putting an amount towards that every year with the goal of having some money at the end. This 3% cap is really the elephant in the room right now.
Well, and as we talked in the budget hearing process, the capital improvement fund is not one that we have. And so it is an option for us to initiate it this year. And it also at that point gives us the opportunity to create a mill or a tax collected for that.
I sure thought we already initiated that.
I thought so too, but Lee said we hadn't.
We have a fund, but we don't have a levy.
We don't have a levy fund.
Okay, yeah. So the question is, we need to discuss, and I'll work with him on.
Yeah,
on how
Lee and I talked even as an option, and for you, Mr. Chair, everybody's capital improvements could come out of their individual budgets and go into a capital improvement fund that the entire county could draw from, as an example. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just different things that we talked about during that day of preliminary budget stuff.
Well, there's quite a few things that could or should be part of that. For example, as you're going through the budget, how many of these have furniture and
FF&E,
furniture,
fixtures and equipment.
I mean that seems to be seems like it would make sense. Okay.
Yep. And we've talked about it over the last year or two to, eventually all copiers coming out of everybody's individual budget, putting it into one central contract. And I think staff is working towards that slowly as contracts are coming up. There's a lot of things that have been refined in this budget over the last couple of years, and it's just now this 3% forces us to do more, I think. As I told my portfolios, we're no longer talking about a 1-year budget. We have to think 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. We can't put a sheriff's car in this year and then not put it in next year. We have to make sure we try to keep our budgets as level as possible moving forward, because we can't handle the hills and valleys anymore.
Right. Lee, I had a kind of just a generic question. As far as the compilation of the budget at this point, what are we looking at as far as the percentage related to that 3% cap? There's been some substantial numbers thrown around, and I'm wondering how it's looking so far to you.
I think when I looked at that, it was about 4 or 5% over last year for the entire county budget, general fund, and special revenue funds.
Okay, thank you.
That is the budget. I mean, the budget increase. That's not necessarily property taxes, levied in dollars.
Mr. Chairman?
Right, Commissioner Woodcock.
With the sales tax collection, we're going towards our property tax bill. Is any of that 2% going to be applied to the 2026 budget? Or are we not at that point where we can fund it?
We will use sales taxes to fund the 2026 budget, I believe, yeah.
We
just don't have the amount yet.
Right, we have 9 months worth of collections that we can apply. We just don't have
So
that
far.
final number yet.
Yeah.
And that's coming in at about how much a month?
Well, we're getting $2 million tomorrow, So we are trending, after the 2 million, we're trending down 4% over last year. So that's not great. It goes up and down. The trend over time has been up by maybe like 1 to 2% per year when you look at the last 10 years. But there's some years in there that are, from a data perspective, just we can't really use them. The COVID year, it just doesn't really count. There was a year where we added online sales tax, so that doesn't really count as far as the data analysis goes. But we are coming in at 4% under last year. That's the tough news.
Did you have any conversations with HR about what part of the increase is directly relative to salaries and benefits for the employees?
Not of the increase specifically. Typically, we're about 70% salaries and benefits. I would have to imagine that a significant part of that, I mean, if we're 70% and we have a 4% increase, then I guess that would be about 3% would be salaries and benefits. So my hunch is that salaries and benefits alone would push us very close to the 3% over last year.
That's why I asked. We're going to have to look real closely at that. Because before we talk about any increases in any budget items, whether it's the riverfront or any other thing, we have to first take care of the employees of Burleigh County. Okay, any other thing you want to put in there on the budget review? I know I have, and I'll get with you on this bunch of questions I have, so.
Until we get a chance for Lee to review and prepare his analysis, we really can't do a lot with this.
No, I think I think there's certainly much more work to go on that.
Yep.
And I just appreciate the effort.
I know when Lee's calling me on Saturday,
Yeah.
and then I get an email from him on Sunday,
Yeah.
he's invested.
Yeah. Well, I
Thank you very much,
the
Lee,
reason
for that.
I didn't call him over the weekend here is because I knew he was going to be in work, and I thought he doesn't need me bothering.
Right.
Thanks for your commitment to that.
Yeah, I would
You and
imagine
Taylor.
a lot of the department heads' budget that they have submitted would be fine to talk about, just as far as getting an understanding of what they have in mind, what they're anticipating. But yeah, the big picture stuff, we'll know more in a week or two.
Well, I think working within our portfolios and the staff, I think we all have a pretty good understanding of what our individual portfolios, where they're at with their budgets. So I don't know that there's any.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock.
what's our timeline on the dates we have to get things done? September 5th is the final budget has to be approved, is that correct? September 5th?
August. Well, for the preliminary budget, we have
September.
early August.
September 15th, I'm sorry.
15th, so the 10th, then I'm hearing you correctly, 15th, and then I believe October 10th is like the last day
Sure.
that you can have your hearing.
Okay. So we do have time, in other words, if we we had a budget meeting scheduled, I hate to not get anything accomplished today and move it down the road 2 more weeks. I hate to waste our time here, that we've got everybody here.
Well, if you have any specific things you want to talk about, Commissioner.
I've gone over my portfolios with all of the department heads, and I see nothing major. Everything's pretty much the same. A couple minor changes, but
Yeah, my major one is the boat ramp, to make sure we have a plan moving forward. Otherwise, everything else turned out quite well.
Commissioner Schwab, anything you want to add to that? Okay, outside of the 7 or 8 pages of questions I have, which is not something we need to talk about right now, because it's just confusing enough stuff that it's no point in talking about it now. Other than that, Lee, I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I can, one little item, as long as we're talking about budget, you and I discussed it at the beginning of the meeting. I would propose for next year that our preliminary budget is Monday at a regular scheduled meeting, not a full day, and have Tuesday as a backup. If that makes sense to all the commissioners,
It does to
rather
me.
than scheduling 2 full days, I'd rather work till 11 o'clock night on Monday and get it all done if we have to, rather than taking a full day.
I agree, Commissioners. Adding meetings during the day is pretty challenging for those of us that have to be somewhere else too.
Yep.
So just to verify, you want to be at 5 o'clock at a regularly scheduled meeting?
Regular commission
Or
meetings.
we could even go 4 o'clock and have an extra hour. We don't want to be here till midnight either.
I think we could be flexible on that.
Yeah.
I just don't see.
You're talking about
8:30
next
in the
year,
morning.
not this.
Right, next year. I don't.
See, for example, I had a difficult time reviewing the bills because I had no problems being on time, but traffic held me up
Yep.
just getting here. And, you know, that, anyway, so, little extra time.
For next year, let's schedule it in the late afternoon, evening, whether it's 4 or 5,
Yeah,
rather than a whole day.
Okay.
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. State's Attorney Lawyer, opioid litigation. The commission may enter executive session to discuss the opioid litigation pursuant to North Dakota Century Code 44-04-19.1, parentheses 2. Do you,
So I had sent the commission a packet of information regarding whether or not you want to join in the settlement, which is the recommendation, or not. So that's the ultimate vote. If you have any questions regarding what that means or where we would go with that litigation, that's when we would enter executive session talking about negotiations regarding that lawsuit. But if there aren't any questions regarding the materials that I had sent, I would recommend joining that settlement.
okay, Commissioners, I had reviewed a fair amount of that information, and I see no problem with joining the.
I would move to join the settlement.
Second.
Commissioner Woodcock.
What do you mean by joining the settlement? What does that, takes that decision-making away from the commission, puts it on?
So if you have questions, I would recommend we go into executive session so I can lay out what our litigation directives could be, and then you can make a decision from there.
I think we should. I really do. We don't want to kick the can down the road anymore. We're already doing it with our budget, so I'd soon we go to executive session and get this hashed and finished out.
I thought it was pretty clear to me, but that's okay.
I
We can do
have
that.
questions.
You do?
Yep.
Okay, well, then we will,
I withdraw my second.
okay.
Julie's going to have
That's-
to read off the legals.
Yep.
So there'd have to be a motion to enter executive session.
Move to join, move to go into executive session
Second.
Pursuant to the Century Code that's listed on the agenda.
pursuant to the Century Code 44-04-19.1, subsection 2.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
No. Just for giggles.
Mr. Chairman?
Now, I wanted to point out, we moved item 16 up ahead of the agenda. One other item left before we adjourn would be other business. Is there any other business that we would want to talk about after the special session? The reason I'm mentioning that is we probably don't have to have staff wait around.
Right.
You know, if you want to get back to work and get going, I think that would be fine. Commissioner Schwab?
On the special session, who is going to be allowed in the room? That's my question.
That would be a question for Julie.
That would be the commissioners, myself, and the auditor to take the recording and keep the record.
No other department heads?
Nope.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, I'll save the adjournment until after the,
Executive session.
yeah, the executive session. Other than that, I think staff, you can go ahead and go back to work and whatnot. And we'll be back shortly.